wanna hear from Lester and Leslie. Let's talk. We're on a journey, come along with me. Let's talk. We're bringing a new perspective. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk with Lester and Leslie. Hey, Leslie.
Hey, Lester.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
You know, I am wore the hell out.
Oh, yeah. What's up?
My mom in this retirement party has wore me out. At the time of this recording, we are a week away from her retirement party. Just she retired earlier in the year, but we're celebrating the retirement this weekend on Saturday, and it's been a lot. And then her friend has a show like 2 weeks after that that I'm helping with. It's a lot.
She excited?
She is. You know, this has been a long time coming. You know, whether by force, by rather by situation, I would say, or rather by free will. We're here now.
Congratulations, you made it so far.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. And sometimes you gotta almost kind of be forced, I think, to make those kind of moves. So that's kind of what happened with mom. But we're here now.
Yes, congratulations.
Yeah. How about you? What's going on with you?
Oh, I'm raggedy because finally we finished the first weekend out at Theater Western Springs.
Woo!
And man, that show is just like it's we work so well, and it's going so well as far as telling this story. And we did talk back on Friday, and it got a little heated in there, and the audience is still divided as to whether or not the priest did it or not. So it was really exciting, and really excited to get into the second weekend of the run, and see what these people think this time around for the second weekend.
Amen. I've always liked the movie Doubt. So normally we put the plugs for things like towards the end, but that's a good, I think, plug right at the top. So, I mean, by the time this airs, the run will be over. But it's good to kind of hear about the process ahead of time. So, just for clarity, you are playing in Doubt. What character are you playing?
Mrs. Muller.
Mrs. Muller. For those who don't know or may not remember, if you watch the movie, Mrs. Muller is the character that was played by Viola Davis, right?
Correct.
Yeah. I don't want to give too much away for the ones that maybe have not seen Doubt, but I will say this is one of those pieces of art where the title reflects literally the plot of the story. Like everything is in the title.
Yeah, wonderfully written, wonderfully made. It was a Pulitzer Prize winning play and a Tony winning play. So I know why. That's something that I aspire to be a writer, is to write like that, but one day I just got to get through this week.
Have you written anything lately, or
I have
in
written,
the year?
Yeah, I have written a couple things. I've written it's not an actual genre. It's just what it is. It's what I wrote, which is a dramatic 3-person monologue. And it's about grief, and it was about when, it's more about when I was walking home from the mall, and all of a sudden, I'm just missing my mom. What happened was that I'm in a playwrights group over at Theater Western Springs, and I was given a photo prompt to write something. So the assignment was to write a monologue based on the photo. And it was a photo of this old man that was sitting in a train car, just looking just tired or defeated or just, out of it. And I'm like, this is exactly what I feel like this fall. And most of it was because of the fact that my mom passed around that time of year, like this time of year.
Mhm.
This is okay. It makes sense because around this time of year, a lot, I'm feeling really, really like in the blues,
Mhm.
and it could be a seasonal thing or whatever, but a lot has happened to me around this time of year.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm physically reacting to trauma, or I just need to drink more water.
Yeah.
I think I just need to drink more water.
Well, I would say, we always need to drink more water. If you remember from some of our one of the previous episodes, I had mentioned that part of the process that sucks, that's some bullshit. I think was the words, the choice
Mm,
words I used
that-
about getting older.
that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is that we've got to be more intentional about like everything that we do, and I still stand by that. However, I would like to parallel that sentiment. I know after my dad passed away, end of September going into October felt scary for the first maybe 5, 6, 7 years. Like, I feel like COVID is when I started to notice that kind of dreadful feeling was going, like, starting to wean off. But and I say dreadful, I'm using those specific words because when it first started happening, I thought that it was just because, Halloween, and to be
Hmm.
more specific, around it wasn't the year that my dad died. I want to say maybe a year or two before it, or a few years before it, maybe Paranormal Activity came out, that movie Paranormal Activity, and I watched it and it scared the shit out of me. So I thought that dreadful feeling was just because I had exposed my spirit to another negative energy.
You
Th-
opened yourself up to something that was quote unquote demonic.
right.
Oh.
Which, I've talked to you about it, but I haven't talked, I don't think, on this platform, how I was raised was our dad used to tell us, like, whatever you open your spirit to, that's what you welcome in. That's not just a saying that he said, but I think that's like that comes from the black church and just the Christian narrative around, things that are in a lot of cases just new and not necessarily scary. It's just new and you don't know about it. The reaction, the way that we should react to it is to, be fearful of it. And and then fear comes, kind of visceral reactions to it, emotionally. And with a lot of folks who I think take it too far, some of them have physical reactions. Some of them are in our government right now, and the things that they are that they're scared of, they're trying to write laws so that they hopefully get rid of them. And it's a terrible way to approach life in general. We're going on a rant right now, and I'm gonna say this one
Yeah.
last point, that there are people right here in Chicago who have never left this city, who are fearful of, like, for instance, like, you go to Europe and they have a whole different kind of approach to nudity than we do. We're so conservative here when it comes to the idea of nudity, and they kind of just walk around with it. And this is just, it's a taboo thing, but we have the visceral reaction of, oh, this is train passing by,
Mm.
that this is something that is below morality. And it just, it's associated with, people who you probably wouldn't want to associate with, when these people are just like you and I. They just were raised in a culture that's different. But the way that a lot of us are raised in our Christian suits is that anything that's new or different is not right. And anyways,
It's secular.
so moving on.
Mm.
I don't want to get stuck in there because that's not this type of episode. We will definitely spend some time. I think I said that in the first or second episode. I want to take some time to talk about the learning and the unlearning of the Christian faith, especially from the lens that we've had. My late father was a pastor, so we were raised heavily in the church. There's a lot of ideals that I've grown up in and realized, like, wait, this may be going against, the person that I want to be, the person that I want to show up as in the world. There's some ideals here that conflict, but that'll be another episode for another day. What did we say we're going to talk about today? Relationships?
Relationship.
What was your thoughts?
Just like I'm reflecting about, where I'm at relationship wise. Cause remember I said like I hope I had some good things to say about the guy I'm with
Right.
by episode 5. And yeah, I can
You put a curse on my relationship. I just realized that. I just realized that this
I
second.
didn't
She put that, let me tell you.
I do not have that kind of power.
Let's rip this band-aid off. She put that thing out there in the world, and the relationship that she's in right now is beautiful, it's thriving, and I love that for my friend. However, I just got out of an 8-month relationship as of this recording, and it's literally fresh. It's a week fresh. And I don't mind talking about it because the way that it happened, that motherfucker can burn in hell. And that's on everything that I love.
Hmm.
But anyways, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, okay. I think nothing I say if you're going in here for you. Maybe that's interesting.
You put another spell. No more witchcraft.
Tis the season, but I really don't think I have that much power because I barely have the energy to wake up in the morning doing yoga. So like,
My goodness.
yeah, I'm having that kind of a. But anyway, like I was saying, so I was reflecting on past relationships and getting into this one. There's a lot of things that they contrast, and a lot of, and I want to give myself some credit because using those relationships, like most of them are like really, really bad. I
Yeah.
took lessons from them instead of, just storing the trauma, or just trying to see like, what is wrong with me? What is wrong? Like, well, what went right?
Mhm.
I mean, what can I do different? I had to give myself like more of a performance review instead of a self critique.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Performance review instead of a self-critique, because we tend to fall into that bag anytime we end, I will say, what they call them, that long-term relationship, LTRs.
Mhm.
So that covers, whether it hit marriage, didn't hit marriage, just whatever relationship that was of significance and a lot of time was invested. We
And
do.
money
And money. That's the kind of the bag that we tend to
lost.
throw in. That's the bag that we go in from the beginning, right? It's kind of blaming ourselves and what you say, self-critique.
Yeah, and I mean, self-critique is not. I don't think it's a negative thing, but I think that it can get to the point where it could get so negative to the point where we fail to recognize the lesson.
Yeah.
And we fail to see, okay, well, maybe there's some things that I'm doing the same that I need to change up. And so, like me, how I do things, I make lists. I made a chart.
So efficient.
And so, like, I made a list of things. Like, okay, what are the things that I'm doing the same, or what I have done the same in those relationships that have failed and failed dramatically. So I took a list of those behaviors and then I made it into a do not list. And you see
Do's
it
and do
too.
not list.
Right. And most of it is more like don'ts.
Mhm.
Don't be doing the same type of shit that you did before.
Right, right.
I guess, you know what? I guess I'll share it.
Yeah. if you don't mind. What and the great thing about shows like well, just in general is that we've got, we're recording this on a system that we can cut and edit and bleep, so share away.
Yeah. So here's okay, there we go. So my list was do not chase.
Mm.
So in that, I mean, do not chase is like usually I would be the one to initiate, to make the first move, to continue to chase after someone who doesn't seem that very interested in me or who doesn't seem to be wanting to give the same energy that I want to give back.
Can I add something with that one? It
Yeah.
just came in my mind. Now, just from me knowing you and some of those past situationships, I want to clarify when you say don't chase, you're meaning after you have kind of sort of fallen for the person, not on the onset, as it relates
It's
to you.
and it's all of it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
do not chase because if I have to chase to initiate, then that's something that I have done before in
Okay.
these relationships. If I have to chase to maintain some level of closeness and recognizing the fact that, they're not pouring into me, that I'm pouring into them, or that maybe I need to reclaim some of my energy back,
Hmm.
that's a don't. Do not chase.
Well, see, I was always under the impression, and this is just for clarity, that on the onset that they would be the ones to, usually make the first move, reach out to you like, hey, that kind of thing. And
Yeah, it works that way too.
okay,
It's very spectrumy, but yeah, it is on set, like at the beginning, I don't I'm sitting here and I'm gonna sit here and be pretty, because before I used
right.
to just it's just me doing something different. So before I'm like, I'll always shoot the shot. I always did. I always went after what I thought I wanted.
Mm,
I never was afraid of doing that. So
you
now
got bigger balls than me.
they are big and they're internal. I made a kid with them.
I just that's almost an internal inside thing. Yeah, I do want to
They are inside. Pelvis.
that I want to share with whoever's listening that my particular pet peeve is that I never chase. I'm usually not the one to. And I'm in guy groups, which friends of mine, and that's one of the things that I aspire to. I don't know, be different in that aspect is, kind of going for what I know versus just waiting for something to come to me and picking from that.
Mhm. Do you
Maybe I'll
do
get there
that?
one day.
Do you do that, like, initially? Have you done that before?
Like approach somebody.
Yeah.
I have not. Usually the folks have been the first to approach me. And now, like on the apps, you can like a picture, heart it, or, like I guess in that respect, I have reached out to some people first, but I've
But you
never had anyone respond when I reach out first. But, you know, normally like the relationships that I've had, every single one,
Mhm.
that person's been the one to make the first move.
Well, you know, I mean, anybody can climb a tree, but,
I'm telling you, and there's not many trees out there. Maybe that's the privilege. Oh,
well, I mean, like we parallel, but sometimes it's like a that mirror,
yeah, total opposite.
Yeah. So, but it's still like what do you call it? It's the reflection.
Yeah, mirror. Yeah.
As a mirror image. We may look different when you split us in half and kind of, like the ambulance, like the word ambulance in the on an ambulance.
Hmm.
You see it left to right when you're looking in a rear view mirror, but when you look at it on set, it was backwards. But it's the
Mm,
same thing.
right, right.
So,
Break that stuff down. Well, I'm sorry, I got in the middle of your list, but
all
so
good.
do not chase.
Yeah. Number two, don't plan first dates unless it's a collaboration.
Okay.
Gatekeep access to my child, close friends and family, and safe spaces until they introduce me to theirs first.
Yeah, that should be a given.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a safety thing.
Be transparent without volunteering too much information all at once.
Hmm.
Do not travel until they have shown significant effort first.
Okay.
Give priority to the ones who make the effort. Don't get caught up in the packaging.
Break that down. What does that mean?
So, like, obviously, if someone is just absolutely gorgeous and yes.
Ow.
However, there, just because the packages and bows are all cute on the outside, there can be some serious crazy going on the inside that
My God.
you do not want to get into.
Definitely dealt with that.
Let them be pretty from far
Right.
away.
Some people are meant to be seen and not dealt with in a
Yes.
relationship.
Yes, that's it. Observed and not disturbed.
Period.
That's right. So, number 8, let them pay for their own shit.
Mm.
Yeah. Number 9, do not be sold on potential until they actively show consistent steps they are currently taking to reach it. And don't be mommy or do wife shit.
I like that. And of course, that is a unisex list. So wherever you see mommies, switch daddy, whatever.
Well, that is my list.
Well, I
'Cause
mean,
I'm not claiming this is not. I am not a therapist. I am
that's
existing and
right.
trying to find the best way that I can exist to my full optimum potential.
That's absolutely right. But I say that to say because I know, especially when you and I talk, I will sometimes take, those kind of things as advice from myself. So I'm more so speaking selfishly from my own vantage point.
Well, I'm gonna stop you right there because maybe you need to make your own list.
I feel like I'll take that list and make it
Not
edit
no,
some
no,
things,
yeah, but I really do.
add my own right spin to stuff, right? For sure. See,
Yeah.
you could tell from me, I want, what do they call it? Like as soft of a life as possible. Just give me the instructions and I'll try
You'll
my best
figure
to
it out.
follow. Yeah, that's
Okay.
that's my angle.
Well, yeah, so you got my list, and so you wanna doctor it up and make that your own.
That's right.
Yeah, okay. You're welcome. You can send the check in the mail.
So on that kind of line of thinking, I kind of started to go into my own like personal time when I had to deal with an end of bad relationship. This is a really good time, like I said, to talk about that because I just ended one. And I realized that I ended it happened, some of the same stuff that I dealt with other people, I dealt with in this particular situation. And it ended in because of some of the same things that I've dealt with in the past. So one of the things that I went through when you were talking about earlier, like how we kind of self-analyze versus what was that you said?
Self critique versus the performance review.
A performance review. I just kind of went to the self-critique, which I think we kind of do that always. A lot of people do that from the onset. I started beating myself up like, you know, what did I do in this situation that I've done before in other situations? What is it about me that is attracting this kind of person that is, kind of ending up doing the same thing to me? Because one thing I will say about me when it comes to relationships that I don't apologize for is my boundaries. And as I've progressed, with each relationship, I've gotten more stern and more rooted in some of those boundaries. Like, for instance, in this last situation, like I said, it ended much like some other ones did, including probably the longest relationship I had with this girl that I was gonna marry.
Oh no.
But
That was your longest
that
relationship.
was my longest relationship. It was almost as long as a marriage. It lasted like 8 years.
It was longer than my marriage. Oh my God.
It be like that
Oh.
sometimes. And and I'm one of those people too, just in general, where like a certificate really, I mean, it doesn't mean much outside of, legal reasons. I feel like folks can have a dedicated relationship, whether it's, enforced in marriage or it's enforced between just those two people or three people, if you're into that.
Hmm.
But yeah, they all kind of ended the same way, and I, kind of started beating myself like, what am I doing to attract these same people? Why do I go through the same thing with these? Why is it ending the same way? And or why do things kind of turn south after this same situation
Mm.
occurs? But this last time that it happened, this was probably the cleanest breakup I've ever had. And I think it's because I've been able to establish language around my boundaries and they've become more defined over
Mm.
time. So I think I shared with you earlier, I said, I now recognize, for instance, like lying and cheating, those are boundaries, right? And when those things happen, I now recognize them as violations. This is someone, when they commit those acts, they violate you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I've exposed you to myself in ways that I would not have if I knew, you know, who you really were in the case of lying, or if we talk about cheating, if I knew that our situation wasn't as monogamous, if we decided to do that, we decided to have a monogamous situation, had I known it was not that, then I wouldn't have exposed you to myself in that way
Mm.
so exclusively. I would have done like you and segmented myself, my love, my affection, whatever, giving you a piece, giving another piece to whoever that could fulfill it in the way that I need it. Because and see, that's another thing right there. A lot of folks will argue that, when you get lied on or you get cheated on is because usually that person's not getting everything that they feel they could get from you. And I'm like, well, who's to say that you not get everything that you feel like you want to get as well, but you make a decision that, hey, this may not be everything that I need right now, but I've dedicated myself to this person, so I'm going to invest in getting what I need from it, communicating, trying to make things better. You know, if that person isn't operating in that same way, that's a violation. And you're being violated because you've invested that energy and that time in a way that you could have invested and divested
So
somewhere
when
else.
you're talking about that, I mean, like are these things discussed beforehand? Is this a mutual agreement that you established with these people?
Yeah, what's really interesting is that with all of the situation where I've been violated, those things are always discussed. In fact, usually by the other person,
Wow. What?
which is really
Really?
weird. Which is really
I didn't
weird.
know
This
how it
whole
was. Yeah.
yeah, this whole like concept of ownership over someone. I feel like that's a violation too, where you want to make sure that I am fully vested in you, but you operate in a way that you're not fully vested in me. And when you feel like, you know, you're not getting whatever it is that you feel like you want to get, then you operate in a way is that you feel is best for you, but it harms
It's very
the other person.
selfish. It's very
Very
self
selfish.
I've been in that situation too, where I'm expected to be the one who is holding down the house
Mhm.
and being the responsible one and very, I should say, the monogamous one in
Mhm.
a relationship and whatnot. Well, they get to go out and do all the things that are not expected of me.
Was that situation that you're talking about, was that, did you initially, did both of you all establish that this was monogamous, or was it non-monogamous? Was it open to interpretation? Like, what were the guidelines set at the beginning?
So, okay, so this is not the current relationship I'm in.
Correct.
Okay, so for that one, it was really weird because at that point in the beginning, I was not trying to jump into anything monogamous right away. It was me like getting a second one and dating again because
Mhm.
this was after that my engagement
Mm.
ended. Remember that the one that had the good ring with the
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
We're
it
talking about
was
A.
oh my god,
Okay.
that was such a beautiful ring. But it was
I
back
would
in
have
the
kept that
no.
and point that bitch. No.
Yeah, okay. Well, in
Give me
my
my
land, in,
money.
in Leslie land,
Mhm.
I made sure to give that back, but um that's neither here nor there. So anyway, for I this was around the time when I was like, okay, I'm ready to date again, and I just want to approach it differently and just not try to nail anyone down for a monogamous relationship. Just see what people are like, and so my my ex, like before, it was he had laid it out all for me. He is dating several women. He is not trying to be anything. I'm like, oh, that's great because that's what I'm doing right now.
So that was like a
Yeah,
non-monogamous,
it wasn't.
technically.
It wasn't. We were just dating. We were just
Okay.
dating, and
Well, you can monogamously date.
sure.
Because I feel like this last situation that I just got out of was a monogamous dating situation that
Well, you like you're dating, but you're not exclusive to
it,
that person
right. This
because
was an exclusive
relationship.
monogamous. I mean, literally from day one. That was, as
What?
I reflect, it was, yeah,
So
like we,
so once you went on that first date, you said we're not seeing anyone else but us.
well, I think what happened was like maybe after the first like week or two, we were like, we need to
Really
invest in
cemented.
just us. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Red
Okay.
flag.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but go ahead. So you
I
guys
don't need to put my
established.
judgments into that.
I mean, it's true, but you live and you
But
learn.
yeah, so we established where we were as far as like, and he was very, very honest with me, at the very, and I love that. I'm like, this is great. Okay, great. Cause it was not the same before. Cause, a lot of people who I interacted with dating like across the spectrum, there was some type of deception there, or there was some type of just,
Deception indicated.
yeah. So I, thought that his honesty was refreshing and that it was like a new thing. It was something different.
Hmm.
And, the whole like polyamory thing was something that I had to like really grapple with. And I'm like, I hate it for me, but I've seen it work for other people. So
Me too.
yeah, yeah.
Me too. In fact, I actually thought this last situation was going to head that way based off that person's background and the kind of things that they've explored. I say, oh,
So
this is
they
a
know a little bit more than you in some things. Like,
yeah. They have been out there. I'm gonna try not to put too much of their business out, but they were definitely out there, and it was like, oh, this might be the opportunity to explore that. But it's like, oh no, I want to be monogamous with you. It's like, wait, hold on.
well, they wanted to be monogamous with you.
Or rather, they wanted me
Yeah, they
to
want you to be monogamous with them.
exactly.
But yeah.
They didn't have language for that. But anyways, go ahead.
Oh, we need to create a song then. But anyway, um, so after we were dating for a while, and then like things started to get a little bit more serious, I guess. And the relationship kind of changed to where like he asked me to be his primary.
Is that the word he used? Primary or
Yes, yes. And, I had to think
wow.
about that because I'm just like, can I handle something like that? You know? And I didn't really know too much about open relationships or polyamory.
Hmm.
So like the information research junkie I am, I went on all the message boards and like I got the books. I read the books.
See, I
I,
love that.
yeah, I went and just did a whole lot of I even asked people that I know
Hmm.
who were poly and
Okay.
like asking them about certain things. But along the way, when I was saying, "Hey, does this make sense?" They were just like, "No, that's not. No."
Give an example. What do you mean when you? Because what I'm hearing you say is that like I cared about this person enough where I wanted to learn
Yeah.
about this lifestyle and engage in it with them, but the things that you were learning, they were saying, "Oh no, that's not right."
Yeah. So the main thing that I've learned in polyamorous relationships is that communication is motherfucking
Okay,
key.
but see, that's true in I feel like
It should be the standard for monogamous relationships.
all relationships,
Honestly, all of them,
friendships, relationships.
everything, all of them, even professional relationships. There has to
Yeah,
be an elevated,
communication.
yes, an elevated level of communication where you want to make sure that everyone is on the same page at the same time.
Okay.
Or eventually they will be caught up, or there is some kind of mindfulness as to what they can process at the moment, and to give them the autonomy
Hmm.
to
Make a
decide.
decision.
Yes, exactly. So that is something that was, was not, what was questionable in that relationship
Hmm.
because I said, like, okay, if they're going out on a date with, if we're in this relationship and I'm primary, you know,
Optimus Prime.
I'm Optimus Prime, Mary. Optimus Prime, Mary. That's a great.
And we're rolling.
Yeah. So, that'd be a great. That'd be a great Halloween costume. Optimus Prime, Mary, or Optimus Proud, Mary.
Optimus Prime Barry with the medal and the wig. Left a
Oh
good
my.
job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm sorry.
So, Jesus. But yeah, I remember checking in with some poly friends, and I had a question about like, hey, we had planned a date and we had planned to do this, but apparently they canceled on me, but they're not really telling me why. And then later on, I'm finding out that they went on a date with somebody else, and they're just,
That's a violation. That
yeah,
is a violation.
yeah. Where's the whistle? So.
Whoop his ass like Tina did Ike. Go ahead.
Oh, that's how it went. So like
Mm.
there was some things that like didn't really add up or register, but you know, being new and falling for potential, which is one of the rules that or one of the don'ts that I put in my list is to not fall for potential for anyone until they have shown me some kind of some current progress on some things. So yeah, the communication part was red flags, and then when we started to live together, things got really, really strange. And the communication was weird. Like I was expected to be a certain way or to, check in, but they weren't. It was very uneven. It was very hindered, and obviously they had some issues that were a little bit like beyond my level of providing any kind of help for. So going from that, like I guess I have learned how to go into different relationships a lot different now because from that one I learned a lot from. And yeah, I'm floundering here. I'm just like, why are you even talking about that? Like I'm so healed now, or I'm trying to be healed, I guess.
It's a journey.
But yeah,
Healing is a journey.
yeah, yeah. It's quite
Right.
quite the route.
But still, something that we've talked about this a few times just in general. I think like when we get to a place where we have fallen for somebody, that's when things get really gray.
Yeah.
But what I heard you say is, and that goes with the list that you mentioned, is that once you got to that point where you invested in the person, you began to learn how to make it work.
Mhm. Tolerate a lot of things just for the
Yeah,
peace, but
in ways that they weren't reciprocating.
Mhm.
It almost sounds like in your particular case, and also I've experienced this myself, where you look up and you're like, oh my God, I am I'm doing all the bending. I'm the one that
oh, you're the one doing the
I'm doing all the
Oh.
bending. I I'm doing all the compromising. I'm doing all the like, okay, since you're going on this journey, let me try to figure you out so that I can best fit in your world versus it being a 50-50, we're in this together kind of situation. But here's the other thing that I kind of want to add in there too. Sometimes it's good that we put together parameters and lists and things of that nature, but sometimes like sometimes those things may fail us. They may fail us because I think about it like when you were just mentioning your story and you kind of like doing the things. In this last relationship, I kind of saw the person who I was dating, it seemed like they were trying to fit within like my life, my schedule. They had their own life going on,
Mhm.
but one of the things that was new for me that I hadn't experienced was seeing somebody, seemingly look like they were trying to, adapt to, my lifestyle. I perform on weekends. Do this, I do that. This person was trying to blend in, trying to help me, with things that I was doing. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is somebody who really cares because they are taking things that they know and they're trying to help me and they're, you know, trying to literally adapt to my world. They're, not, and that could be a red flag in and of itself
Mhm.
when someone is seemingly giving you everything that you feel like you need, and it feels like it's almost too perfect. You know, one of the things that I've learned in this season, not just in my relationship, but just in general, like I feel like you need conflict to really know what a relationship is made of, whether it be a romantic relationship, friendship,
Well, what kind of
what
conflict?
like you need some sort of disagreement. You need because you see what? Because we are not built to be monolithic. So
Yeah.
there will be times where there will be different perspectives on one thing that we see, and that in and of itself I feel like it will cause at the very least a disagreement. And the way that you navigate that is, I think, will tell how strong that relationship is.
Okay.
And you've got to navigate it. You
Yeah.
can't avoid it. I think that was the issue with this last relationship I got out of. Like this person was trying to put themselves off as too perfect. And I was desiring us to navigate some nasty water so I could see how do you swim, bitch? Because
Can you float?
right, because it's Mike Vick well, what's the swimmer
Oh my God. Dang it.
that
Mike.
was on drugs, Mike.
Oh, the one who's on drugs.
Yeah, because wasn't he really good?
There was a couple of like Olympic swimmers who had scandal. There was
Yeah,
Michael Phelps.
Phelps. There we go.
But
I'm
that
Mike
was
Phelps in this bitch. I am Mike Phelps in this bitch. I was in an 8 year long, relationship. I've had relationships after that. Like, I feel like I'm prepared for
Some good old
disagreement.
confrontation.
Yeah, I'm prepared for it, and I need to see how do you fight in the ring?
I think that yeah, it's good to have, to know that you are your own individual. You know
Mhm,
what I'm saying? Like that you should have some pushback, but for me, I'm thinking I'm just like, dude, I don't want like full blown arguments because
mhm,
I have had broken out into rage with my last relationship because of like suppressing
mhm,
so much anger and just letting things just just ignoring things. Instead of confronting the issue as it happens or close to the time that it happens, I was just suppressing. And then, he would say, my ex would say something, and then next thing you know, it like I would just go into a full blown like fucking rage.
mhm,
And I'm pretty sure, like, it was embarrassing. Like, my daughter obviously heard that,
mhm.
and the neighbors obviously we live in an apartment, so everybody heard
I
me
do
going
remember
off.
those days. Yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, everybody heard me going off on him, and without context, I sounded
you
crazy.
probably look crazy.
Hell yeah. And I mean, it didn't look great because optics. So
Right.
so it's just like, you got this angry ass black woman just hollering at this dude.
Dating this white guy.
Oh my God. And so like
Just because I want to be clear so folks know what when we say optics, because it's funny. Let's talk about something that we parallel with. That's your optic. My optic when I had conflicts was you're this big 6'6",
oh
and
God. And
then
then they're the
the thing,
small.
right? I usually tend to date really tiny, well, not really tiny, but smaller individuals than I am. And if they call the police, they
They're gonna
probably would have the
tase
upper
you.
hand. Like this big 6'6", 350 something pound guy and this 5'6", young lady or young gentleman,
hmm
you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
you're the aggressor. And that's usually not the case. Anybody who has ever owned dogs knows the difference between having a Rottweiler and having a Chihuahua.
Yeah. But
That Chihuahuas bark
we're both the
and
aggressors
bite.
apparently, in that then because when when the police came up to my house and they pulled up, like I'm like, hold on a second. I own this house.
Period. That heard that part. I'm the
Yeah.
owner
I'm the
here,
owner here. I'm the mortgagor.
not
I'm on the
him.
property taxes like this dude. Not
Yeah,
yeah.
but I just want to give context to optics because that's exactly someone looking on the outside who are looking at prejudiced eyes or
Yeah.
whatever society tells people.
Even yeah, yes. Anyone who is more likely to believe a stereotype of what is fed to us in society or in this comic climate or the media or whatever. That is what someone is inclined to believe.
Right.
So when they see this black woman, tussling in a bonnet, you know,
Because we got to keep our hair together.
yeah. So,
With this
it's
Caucasian male.
right. I'm just like, please, that I'm so glad it didn't end with, tragically, I guess. But yeah, I just learning to just these relationships and just being in them for like longer than we have to because of the fact that we don't want to do confrontation. Want to keep I wanted to keep the peace. I wanted to like I was hanging on to an I was hanging on to a potential. I was hanging on to an image that wasn't real.
Yeah.
And, just stayed in that relationship for way too long.
So, you and I for years have had conversations about these our relationships. You gave language to the kind of relationship that we have had with
Oh,
these jokers. Like,
yes.
I think it was around COVID when you first mentioned
Yes. Yeah.
and I said I had to Google it.
My
What was that
therapist
word?
gave my therapist gave me that.
Okay.
And she said that maybe this is like a karmic relationship.
I'm going to spell that for our viewers because, like I said, our listeners, karmic, K as in kite, ARMIC. Karmic relationship. I never heard this terminology. And Leslie, you may not know this, but when you first told me this language, I was sitting on the phone like, yeah, yeah, you right, girl. All the while Googling it because I was like, what is this? And then I think at one point, just because I want to get the vantage point of what you thought it was or from your viewpoint, I just came out and asked you, like, what in the way that you're using this word, what is karmic relationships? I've never heard this word before.
I'm go straight from what my understanding of it was from what was given to me. So I guess it was a relationship where I had to learn something.
Mm,
And the only way that I would learn this thing would be to be in a relationship with this person.
mm.
And honestly, I have learned a lot from that relationship. And then honestly, if I wasn't, I'm trying to think, if I wasn't with anyone around that time, would my politics be the same? Would my, you know,
Are you saying if you wasn't with that person at the time?
yeah. So just like remember with your relationship,
Hmm.
and you figured out some things about yourself because they were truly themselves, and that is
Right.
something that you really enjoyed.
I'm going to throw that out there really quick because you just you just convicted me for 2 seconds with that one word. So I think what you're talking about, you can confirm with me or not. My longest relationship with a young trans woman who, I mean, minus the bullshit that we went through, was incredible. This was someone who lived in their truth since they were like, I don't know, in high school. And I was attracted to that level of freedom. And actually, within that relationship, that's when I was kind of pushed out the closet. And I didn't mind it because I was so in love with this person. They had shown me a whole new world, right? And that level of freedom was like an elixir. It was like a
It's
drug.
intoxicating,
It was
isn't it?
intoxicating. So I
Yeah.
just kind of ran through that door and I was like, hey, yeah, it is what it is. And this is the person that I love. And yeah, so to your point, yeah, I learned a lot of things about myself in that relationship, which is something that I would never take away from that relationship. And I want to offer that to you if I've never before, is that, you know, they say that you always are supposed to learn something from these relationships and situations. So it's not a total loss, and nuance is a thing. So what that means is I could have experienced some of the most deadliest traumas with you, but then also experience my highest liberations with you at the same time when we talk about the whole extent of the experience, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. I
No,
don't think.
yeah, and I have never been so enlightened on so many things as far as like even like getting back into Cornell West and reading up on Kwame Ture and just like from this dude, from that
You're
guy.
talking about from the poly guy.
Yes, and I'm just like,
Catch that tea.
this is
You found your liberation. You and you can correct me if I'm wrong. You almost kind of found a source to who you are,
yeah.
your culture from a white guy.
Isn't that embarrassing?
That is not.
Fuck.
It's not embarrassing.
I'm embarrassed.
Because going back to religion, going back to Christianity, there are instances where they talk about God using the most unlikely of sources to get a message through to us. I believe that.
Yeah, and hence that was that karmic relationship.
So while we're on the subject of karmic relationships, so just like I did in one of the previous episodes, I'd like to offer and I know Leslie, you hate AI. Unfortunately,
Minus eight. Did you?
I forgot to put minus AI before I searched it. However, what I did do, just for the benefit of not just you and me, but also whoever's listening, I did so now they've got this feature on here when you do the Google searches where it'll tell you, this is where we're getting information from. These are the sources. So
Mhm.
before I read the definition, let me let you know this is an AI generated like a summary,
What did the
but
machine
the
say?
machines gathered this summary from vote.com, from brides.com.
What?
Yeah, hold on. Thriveworks.com, marriage.com, talkspace.com, which is a
Talk space.
Talkspace. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. That's a half.
Therapist.
That's a half one.
We were getting there.
Right. That's why I want to give me a second to go through all
Yeah,
of them.
yeah.
Clevelandclinic.org, uh,
What?
Reddit, Soul Matcher
I trust
app,
Reddit first.
alchemy-of-love.com, medium.com, the holistic counseling.center, verywellmind.com, medicalnewstoday.com.
Magical news.
Yeah, so it's a culmination of about 15 websites that they've summarized this definition from. So
Okay.
here we go. A karmic relationship is an intense, emotionally volatile connection, often believed to be fated from a past life. Its purpose is to teach important life lessons and break unhealthy, repetitive patterns. These relationships are often short lived and unsustainable. That's not the case for
That's not the
us.
case. Unless we're just slow learners. Are we slow?
Well, anyways,
Well,
I
some
definitely
things
I
we
have
can
my
keep an
slow
eye on things
moments for
slow,
sure.
yes.
Love is definitely one of them.
And other things. But yeah.
In contrast to healthier connections like soulmate or twin flame relationships, these relationships, this is why I'm saying it's often short lived. Signs that you're in a karmic relationship: instant magnetic connection. I just talked about that before we press record with me. Repetitive cycles, intense but unsustainable, codependency,
Oh, yeah.
underlying issue surface, difficult communication. Now, here's the part that I'd like to offer in terms of relief. They have a section here that says how to break a karmic cycle, acknowledge and accept the lesson, take responsibility, practice forgiveness,
Oh,
set firm boundaries,
yes.
cut off contact completely. I'm glad I did that very quickly.
Yeah.
Let me tell you just real quick sidebar. This last relationship that I ended. So normally when I in long-term relationships or strong connection relationships, and I've only had about three, maybe four in the past like 2 decades. Normally they're dragged out, very emotional. It is, very dramatic. It's a whole soap opera that could last a few weeks, a few months. In the case of that last long term relationship with that lovely trans individual, that took years
Yeah.
of fully being able to say, this is actually done and separated, right? Took years. But this last situation I just got out of, less than 24 hours.
Oh, progress.
Progress like a motherfucker. When I tell you, I was like, I'm talking about cut and dry, over and done in under 24 hours. My
Yeah,
God.
that's wild.
To me, that was growth. And the last,
Yeah.
and the last one, heal and practice self care. Those are the suggestions from all those sources to break a karmic relationship.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
That's pretty darn accurate. even though it's like just Frankenstein and a bunch of, you know, words from other websites. But yeah, that's those are the right ones in the right order. Yeah, I agree with that as far as what we both went through when it
Hmm.
came down to being into, because those were like that it was not all bad.
It
It
wasn't.
was wonderful,
We learned
wonderful
things. We
times.
have uh, amazing highs.
Yeah, but
Um,
unsustainable.
Unsustainable. That's the key. That's the key.
Yeah, yeah, I don't
Unsustainable.
know how we kept it alive for so long, but
Probably those
hope.
highs. I feel like those
Yeah,
highs
yeah.
held more weight than those lows, but those lows were like very toxic. And, you know, you mentioned, police. I had several situations where, you know, an apartment was screaming, police were called, this person pulled weapons on me, you know,
Yeah, dangerous, but we're still holding on to the hope of them
they
fulfilling
was
their
throwing shit, I was
potential.
throwing shit.
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
Can you believe that, like, shit that I paid for, throwing them around, like,
That's wild to me. Like, I don't think
both of us?
it never got like violent, but it could have. Or actually, that's when it ended, was when it did get violent
That's
for
right.
me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, thankfully, that was like the very first, well, because I have a child. And I'm just like,
Yeah, your situation's a little bit different
yeah,
than mine. Like, I could tear up a house and it'll just be
it just
on
be
me.
done. Yeah, right. And that's it. But like, I have another human being that I am responsible for.
Yeah.
And if she's seen me handling that type of, fuckery, then that's how she's going to handle it, or she's going to resent me for it.
That's
So
right.
saying like that is not fair to her. So I had to just end it. Like I had to just, get that. I had to do something different. And what I
Yeah.
did different was I called my dad.
Well,
And I
I
would,
think you did some other things that
well, yeah, but I would have
did a
never,
whole
but
bunch of
I,
things that
I would have.
layered.
Yes. However, it's just like the one thing that I would never do is ask for help when it came down to a situation where I thought that I had 100% responsibility for.
Mm,
And I did, but I needed help. And the last person I would have thought to call would be my dad.
mm,
And he lived all the way in Houston. Like, what the hell was he gonna do? But I did not have a better idea.
yeah.
And I'm just like the one thing, and I remember pacing in the house when he was going all crazy, and I was just like, I got to do something different. Like, what do I do? I got to call my dad, and
Mm,
that's when it just like things started to fall into place. Is once I started to break the cycles, my regular behavior, those patterns, things started to be different, or I started to get different results
mm-hmm.
that were for my growth and for my betterment
Yeah.
than it was for my demise. You know what I'm saying? When I'm continuing to be in those same patterns and not wanting to break out of or change it and then wonder why, I'm still miserable, wonder why. I'm like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, right? But maybe what I'm doing is not what I'm supposed to be doing.
Mm,
So once I decided to like recognize that, maybe like in those karmic relationships, I guess, like that's when I just started to realize, okay, the wheels are starting to turn now because I'm sick of it.
mm, right.
Like this is not right. This is not fair to my kid. This is
Mm-hmm.
not the life I want.
Not fair to you either.
No, that's when and then another thing, my value started to come up. And just like I am high level now. I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to be doing as far as on paper.
Mm-hmm.
And I am I'm trying to like be the best parent, but am I the best to me?
Right.
So like it just got to the point where I was just sick of it. There was problems with this person that I could not fix, and I had to be okay with that, not be mommy,
Mm-hmm.
to not fix things that for people that I cannot. I'm not a professional.
Right.
I'm not an addiction counselor. I'm not any of those things. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And it's just like
Not a therapist.
once I take myself out of those positions that I don't belong in,
Mm-hmm.
then I can see myself a little bit clearer and see this whole situation a little bit clearer for what it was.
Mm-hmm.
So
The other thought, because I think we're going through like now the lessons of what we gathered from
Yeah,
those
yeah, yeah.
situations. That's what I'm hearing. The other thing that I just thought of, well, not just thought while you were talking, and hopefully this isn't too off kilter, but because I was thinking like, gosh, you said it. How did these things last so long?
Yeah.
I can't imagine. We were all kind of, especially coming from the suburbs, right? I say suburbs specifically because when I moved out to the city, one of the things that was really refreshing, people ask me all the time, like, my brother stays in the burbs. Most of the people that I grew up with are in the burbs. It seems like you kind of ran away to the city. Why? What was the purpose? And this is not, I'm not meaning this as a negative for those who are still there or who have created lives out there. But and technically I'm in the suburb right now. It's just on the other side of town.
Yeah.
But one of the thoughts I had is there's this kind of like cycle of or blueprint of life, I think, of what life should look like when we come from the suburbs, right? White picket fence, marriage, two kids, dog, all of those kind of that, like that is the quintessential image for a suburban kid, and that's how you live your life and then you live your days. And part of that image, and I was raised in this, is that relationship part. Like once you, whether that be a marriage or a long-term relationship, we were taught through the thick and thin, stick that thing out,
Don't throw it away.
right? Stick that thing out
Oh, I
and
got it before when for my divorce, like for my mom actually.
mhm,
Like she
mhm,
she kind of understood why, but at first she was just like, "Well, why don't you just stay, cuz just to stay to family, for kids or whatever." I mean, obviously your tune changed like once, I was starting to tell her some things. She's like, "Oh, okay, I get it."
mhm.
You have to do what's best for y'all because obviously now we're better friends than we were, married.
Oh, you talk about, yeah,
My
you and your
ex-husband.
ex-husband, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I got that history. Yeah. But
But I feel like that's been implanted in all of our brains to try to fulfill that image, especially like I said, coming from the burbs, because that's all of our friends, all of our family, like that's what we saw.
yes.
And it's like, well,
And
we're supposed to do that too.
not
We're
just the
supposed to live into
suburbs.
that too.
Not just the suburbs, but even our religious backgrounds and our
Right.
upbringing. Yeah.
hmm hmm
Yeah. Very
So
traditional.
when I think about like how things lasted, I feel like that's a part of it because there is this sort of shame that comes with, you know, releasing a relationship, even though it may not be the best for you. It's a toxic thing, whatever. It doesn't matter. We saw our family members tough it out through that stuff, and kind of in some cases deal with things that they probably shouldn't have had to deal with just for the sake of the aesthetic of that relationship.
I have a question though. Did you feel like after a certain point, like time wise, like after you reach like maybe like 2 or 3 years together, that you would feel kind of guilty about breaking up? Or did you think that if you made it that far, then why not just keep in or stay in that?
I feel like there was a time, maybe in the fourth or fifth year, where I did say, well, you've stuck it out this long.
Hmm.
Now y'all are kind of cemented together. That's kind of why I feel like our relationship was like in a purgatory. Me and my ex, we were like in this forever purgatory because I was always like, well, things will get better. And when they do,
Mm.
that's when we'll get married.
What?
That's when,
Step up potential. Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
that's when we'll
Yep.
go into the white picket fence scenario, a pseudo white picket fence, because
Good
again,
things take time.
right. So, and I know we've talked about this before with past and backgrounds where we have seen, family and like you said, church even dynamics where, you know, someone and I'm not speaking on anyone specifically, but we have seen scenarios where someone in a relationship was obviously not happy.
Hmm.
but they're still there and they stick it out till the end. And oh, we're going off on a tangent, but I do want to just throw out like there was a time where sticking it out meant, your livelihood, life or death, things of that nature, especially if you're a female, right?
Mm.
And we're no longer in those times. I know there's a big debate now with men and, women and relationships and, oh, these women are different now. And, they don't, these women ain't doing right and they don't, and that could be the case for some scenarios. However,
Don't
also, right, it's not a blanket. It's not a blanket. It's nuance in there. Like, if I could call this podcast, we already have a name now, but if I could call this podcast Nuance, the life of nuance or some shit like that, I would do that because that's literally what life is about and just kind of what what everything is about is nuance. There is no blanket that covers every scenario, and you have to consider nuance. You have to consider that you may have dealt with, you know, a trifling girl, trifling guy, but also too, we're at a time now where women don't need a husband to have a bank account or or and can purchase property by themselves.
like, why would anybody hate that though? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. Well, I mean, it's
Well,
not
it's the
any. Let's say, why would any sensible person?
exactly.
Because there's some unsensible people, right?
Yeah.
Your body, my choice. Those crazy folks,
Yeah.
well, are the ones that probably you would want to go back, right? Make America great
Of
back
course, because it can't
then.
handle not being in control or not being in power or
But see,
whatever.
that's why I said sensible.
Sensible.
We're talking about sensible
Yes,
people.
not the freaks. And
Yeah, the sensible ones should consider nuance.
yes, absolutely. And it's an elevated way of thinking too, because when you apply a one size fits all, how can you? I don't even fit into one size fits all.
Neither do I. Nobody does when you really look at it.
I mean, I guess if we want to consider like breathing oxygen, you
We
know,
all come together with that.
yeah, yeah. And apparently, the air's not that great, but that's my, safety environment. But we're all gonna just burn anyway. So
Well, hopefully we'll be gone before the earth burns. But anyways,
I got a kid though.
hopefully her too.
Yeah, sure. So I guess,
Any other lessons?
well, no, I guess like I just covered it. Like the lessons was that doing things different will give me a different result.
Right.
And to give myself more performance reviews other than the self critique, or I need to move away from the self critique and more into a performance review type of way of reevaluating myself.
Hmm.
And well, I guess the third thing is just that to value myself more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I need to drink more water.
Speaking of that, before we close out, I wanted to talk about the things that I've been doing to drink more water. I have been buying fruits and vegetables to infuse my water, and I've been drinking hella water for the past couple months. Like right now, in my canister, I've got lemon,
Mm.
fresh mint leaves, and cucumber cut up.
I love that combination.
I found out that I love cucumber water. I'm just trying to mint out, but I've been doing like lemon and limes. And I even one week I muddled, check that out, muddled.
I know. You're all bougie.
Some blueberries and raspberries at the bottom of the cup and put water
You
in
do
it.
have it mortar and pesto.
I don't have the official stuff. I just literally put the fruit down there, took my spoon and just,
Okay.
went to town on it. But
I love it. Yeah.
yeah, so I've been drinking infused water for like the past 2.5 months.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I need to do better.
I will suggest that to all of my upper millennials out there listening. If you need to get more water intake, buy some fruits and vegetables. I'd highly suggest cucumber and lemon and limes, and just throw them in your cup and
Just pour it in
Keep
your
going.
cup.
It's best when you fill that thing up right before you go to sleep and let it sit in the refrigerator and just let that water and those things infuse. And in that morning,
Just wonderful. So good. So good.
so with that, we talked about promos at the top, so I think at this point we can probably close out.
Yeah.
This is your hopefully soon to be favorite uncle and auntie
But we ain't claiming y'all.
signing off.